Okay, so we're going to look at one example of how we might use explain everything. Now, the first thing, as always, we have to bear in mind is that we are always thinking about the impact of the student's learning. So there's no point in doing this if we can do it in a better way, or if we don't think that it's actually going to make a significant impact difference to the way in which our students are learning. But I think this is a really good example of how we can do that. Now, what we've got here is a simple ranking activity. I'll show you the activity first, and then I'll show you how I made it. So we can see we've got 8 factors influencing provision of PE and sport in school. And the first thing I would do, I've created this already, I've put it onto Shobi and I've pushed it out to all of my students. They receive this and they open it up and it looks just like this. So the first thing I want them to do, without touching the model at all, doing anything at all, is saying, okay, look, what do you think are the 8 factors influencing the provision of PE and sport in schools? Have a think. So I'm getting them to think hard, perhaps take them outside their comfort zone a little bit, and obviously if they can't think of 8, maybe think of 5, maybe think of 3, however many you can. Then I would show them by airplaying this, by reflecting this up onto the whiteboard, that sneakily underneath the wording there in blue, I've put in 8 factors. So simply by just putting the finger under the blue and dragging, they can pull out any number of the 8 factors. Now I'm doing this in no particular order, just to pull them out to show you. Now what I would say to them is, okay, still working on your own, I want you to think about now what are the 8 factors in a ranking order. So at the top left here, where it's concerns over health and safety, what do you think would go there? You might decide that health and safety is first. You might decide that actually the what I want to put there is emphasis on academic achievements over PE. I might put health and safety second. I might put financial pressures, that's always a high one, isn't it, third, and so on. So that now we've got a complete 8 ranked order, and they've done this on their own to start with. Now that the students have completed that on their own, what I would ask them to do is to get into pairs and to work with their partner, explaining what they've chosen, why they've put it where they've put it, and justifying the reason for that. So I don't just want them to say, oh yeah, I had this here and I had that there and I had financial pressures number 3. Yeah, so did I. No, I don't want to do that. What we want to say is, right, why did you have financial pressures there? Oh, I had financial pressures over here. I really want them to grapple with why they've made those decisions. Why is it that availability and quality of equipment and facilities is lower down their order than, for example, concerns over health and safety? What made them come to that particular conclusion? So what we're doing here is we're getting under the surface. We're not just talking about the key points on a superficial level. They are grappling with the content. When they've done that in pairs, they must come to an agreement together as to what those their 8 are in the ranking order, and that can be quite challenging. Once we've done that, we're then going to cascade that activity, and we're going to put the students into groups of 4, and they're going to do exactly the same thing. They're going to come up with their 8 as a group of 4, and they're going to grapple with and discuss and argue and defend and really, as I say, grapple with this content so that they've really got an understanding of what is each of these concepts and what they mean and how they impact in this particular case. Now once I've done that with my 4s, my groups of 4s, depending on the class size, number of pupils in the class, students in the class, I might develop that again, or I might stop there and say, okay, right now, we've got our little groups, we've come to our consensus and agreements, let's airplay each of these onto the board, and we can have a look at what each group has got, and each group can then account for, defend their particular decisions. And ultimately what we want to do is come up with a group, whole class consensus on what the key factors are in ranking order. And when and if we come up with an agreement, we can then ask our students, each of them on their iPad, to move the particular factors around. For example, those may move around, and then they have that. They have that on Explain Everything. Or, if they want to, they simply take a screenshot. They take a screenshot and then they put that into Shobi in the particular area, or on their VLE or their e-portfolio, wherever you choose that they want to put it, and they can come back and refer to it obviously at whenever a time suits them. Next video, I'm going to show you how I made this. It's really, really easy, but again, something which I think is really powerful to impact on student learning.